Hey, it's Sandra. I'm live on My Asexual Life. Welcome to another episode. I'm Sandra Bellamy, author of Asexual Perspectives, founder of asexualized.com and founder of Asexualized Academy. I am indeed on my mobile phone today, so it's a smaller picture you'll probably be seeing. Hello, Michael. My iPad's got a few things not quite right about it. I've been using it a lot today because I've had to, and it's currently on charge, and I was worried that if I use my iPad it might stop working. So I'm on my phone, but my phone is also plugged into a charger, but it's got like over half power, whereas my iPad's really low power at the moment. So I wanted to talk to you today about asexuality challenging relationship ideology. And when this happens, some people just really can't accept it because it just breaks all their concepts of how relationships should be. And the sad fact is, some people use manipulation tactics to make us feel like we're invalid, our point of view is invalid, we're not right. And I think that's really horrible. I think it's sad that more people in society can't be accepting. Now, usually the people I come across are accepting. However, you might remember yesterday I was speaking to you. I've got it up on my iPad actually. I was speaking to you about there was a documentary someone did about a program about asexuality, and it was on YouTube. It's not a documentary. It's a mini talk about what asexuality is and isn't. It's like an animation thing. It's only 3 minutes 47. And it's on a channel called Psych to Go. Now, I was talking about it yesterday and was talking about the fact I was giving some advice actually to a sexual person on there, even though I'm asexual. Thanks for the thumbs up. I forgot to ask the thumbs up. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. And I was also saying that in this particular video, I liked it a lot, but the one thing they got wrong about asexuality was that aromantic asexuals don't have relationships. And that simply isn't true. A lot may not have relationships, but some do. And I know some that are in relationships. I know one person that's been married for years to a sexual person. She's an aromantic asexual. And so this video had got that wrong, right? And I originally came in on the channel to say a little bit and say this was what I put. I'm a heteromantic asexual and I'm thrilled you have done this video. Asexuality is deeply misunderstood and you did a great job. Thank you so very much, kiss kiss. Although the majority of aromantics don't want a relationship, there are a small number of aromantic asexuals who are in relationships or who would like one. I have an aromantic asexual friend who is married. But it is usually the romantic asexuals who desire a relationship the most, as you said. And I have a channel for asexuals called Asexualized My Asexual Life, and the author of non-fiction book Asexual Perspectives. Yes, exactly, Michael. So do queer platonic relationships not count? That's what I'm saying. They do have relationships. Queer platonic relationships are something that asexuals have, right? And obviously they don't know about this. They either don't know it or they're ignorant, but there is actually someone later on in the thread who talks about a queer platonic relationship and said and talks all about it. And they make the point of the fact that some aromantic asexuals do want relationships, and they talk all about queer platonic relationships in it. But see, the people behind this video, I've left that comment as of a lot. I've got 12 thumbs up, so that's really interesting. 12 thumbs up. So people obviously like what I had to say. I didn't realise that. So, there is someone that talks later on about queer platonic relationships, right? So I think it's a shame that they got that wrong in the video. Because this video is very popular, they've got thousands of people who watch it. The problem is everyone sort of who's not asexual. Well, I don't know if everyone, but the people that are not asexual, they watch that and they now believe the video, right? They think that aromantics don't have relationships. Okay? So, so basically, I told you there was a heterosexual aromantic guy who wants a lot of sex, and I told you I was trying to give him some advice on that, what to do. In the end, I said, well, if all you want is sex and you don't want to, go on dates, do anything with the person, you don't want to make an effort or do anything like that, then just hire a sex worker if you just purely want the sex and don't want anything else, That was a sum total of my long discussion with him in the end. I was trying to be like, I said, you need to work on yourself. Like, most people, they do want more than just sex, even sexuals. Do you know what I mean? So, basically, what was it? Yeah, right. So then this woman comes in and starts talking to me, right? On here, in this thread. And this is what she put. I'm beginning to think the reason asexuality is misunderstood is because every time I see a discussion or video, there seems to be contradiction. If an aromantic is defined as those who don't want relationship, that's ITM, full stop. I don't know what ITM means. You don't get to say some aromantics do want relationship. That makes no damn sense. Words have to mean things. If someone wants sex but says they're asexual, or someone wants romance but says they're aromantic, they even live in perpetual opposite days. If they're in, they either live in perpetual opposite day, or they're in some odd denial. Silly thing is, I'm totally fine with peeps who don't want sex or relationships if they truly feel that way over long periods of time. I'm fine, but I'm finding threads and videos annoying for not sticking to actual definitions. Stop contradicting yourselves. See, she doesn't understand. I mean, it's not 100% her fault, because obviously the video does say that. It does make it confusing, but, I've tried to say that I've got a channel about asexuality, and, I'm the author, so it's kind of like I do know what I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? But I appreciate she doesn't know me, but even so, it just gets worse, the conversation with her, unfortunately, though. So, what is it? Yeah, so someone wants romance but says they're aromantic. I didn't say they want romance. I said they can still want a relationship, if she read what I actually put. I said, so to them, all relationships are romantic and people only have sex with people they find sexually attractive. Basically, yeah, you've got it in a nutshell, Michael. I don't really need to read the rest of it, but it gets really, I think she gets quite manipulative in what she's saying to me, which is what I don't like. I've stopped speaking to her now. I can't be bothered to waste my time. Do you know what I mean? But, so, so it goes on. She's talking to this bloke on there that's sexual as well. They're getting on really well. Surprise, surprise. Overall. Right. So I put an because don't forget this guy that's on there. He's a sexual aromantic. So I wrote back to him and put, an aromantic is someone who does not experience romantic attraction, and an aromantic asexual is someone who does not experience romantic attraction or sexual attraction. And an aromantic sexual is someone who does not experience romantic attraction, but they do still experience sexual attraction. Aromantics can be in relationships, and some of them are and want to be. There are many aromantics who feel they don't want or need to be in a relationship, but not all aromantics are the same. And I have some aromantic asexual friends who are in relationships. Yeah, I know another guy who, although he's not Mare, you could always copy paste what I just said. Yeah, I can't be bothered with her, Michael, though, because anything you say to her, she just won't accept. She doesn't accept it. You know what I mean? I spent ages messaging her. I can't be bothered to waste my life anymore. I'm open to educating people. I'm trying to help as much as possible, but when people don't listen and start hurling insults and stuff like that and being manipulative, I can't be doing with it anymore, It's just ridiculous. I'm not going to waste my time, because she's a type of person that always likes to have the last say no matter what I say. So I just thought, let her get on with it, because I think her last set of comments is ridiculous. And I think people who are reading that will see that. So I went on to say There are many aromantics who feel they don't want or need to be in a relationship. But not all aromantics are the same, and I have some aromantic asexual friends who are in relationships. And I have an aromantic sexual who follows my asexualized page on Facebook and is in a relationship. There are different types of love besides romantic and sexual. And it is a myth that all aromantic asexuals do not want to be in a relationship. I did a video on my channel about this myth, that no aromantics want relationships, which simply isn't true. They just don't experience attraction. Here is blah blah blah. Actually, they can experience aesthetic attraction and stuff like that. I am asexual, but was in. I should have put they just don't. She is a right fighter. Laugh out loud. I know a lot of people that are that way. Yeah, they just don't experience attraction. I meant to say they just don't experience romantic attraction. I might have to edit that. Here is the link to my video. I'm asexual, but was in relationships with heterosexuals for half my life before realising and have been educating people about asexuality on my channel since 2015. I was also a speaker at the UK Asexuality Conference in London this year and have a free Asexuality Basics for Beginners course at asexualisedacademy.com for anyone who wants to know more about the basics of asexuality and the asexual spectrum and the aromantic spectrum within that. So I was trying to be helpful, saying if she wants to know any more information. This was her response. I might check out your video, but why would someone be in a relationship if they don't want romance? Question mark. To have a buddy roommate to help pay the bills? Question mark. Well, that's not a relationship. All due respect, you don't get... Sorry, I've got traffic outside. All due respect, you don't get to redefine words. I'm fine with all your definitions at the start, but then you contradicted those definitions. So then I replied again. I don't see how I contradicted anything. I didn't redefine anything. Aromantic is a lack of romantic attraction. There are other attractions besides sexual and romantic, and other forms of love. A relationship is defined by the people who are having it, which is totally true. It's really none of anyone else's business. If people are in a relationship, they're in a relationship. It doesn't really matter whether they're having sex, romance, or whatever they're doing, does it? It's a relationship they're having. Do you know what I mean? And I put some asexual aromantics had something, or have, I should say, but I put had something called a queer platonic relationship, QPR. Here is an article from Wikipedia that may help you understand more about romantic orientation and aromantic. So I sent the Wikipedia article, you know? I'm trying to be really helpful. Sorry for the beeping outside my home. Right. And then this is what they replied. Well, if they have a close platonic friendship, then that's fine. I just think it would help to avoid confusion if that was clearly stated. The common usage of relationship is that of romantic connotations, and it will likely stay that way since asexuals make up smaller portions of the population. So in order to keep asexuality from being misunderstood, it needs to be. It does not seem like when they read you say relationship in their head, they translate it into romantic relationship. Exactly. They can't deal with the fact that someone can be in a relationship without it being romantic. They just can't hack it. They just can't. They can't comprehend it in their brain, can they? They don't agree with it, basically. Whether they agree with it or not, you know, they can't deny facts. But she does. She goes on to deny facts in a minute. I've heard the common usage of this is what she said. And it'll like so that she's put. I'll just go over that last bit. She said the common usage of relationship is that of romantic connotations, and it'll likely stay that way since asexuals make up smaller portions of the population. So, in order to keep asexuality from being misunderstood, it needs to be clarified that aromantic asexuals are seeking out close friendships, or at best a friend/partner, not a relationship. I'm not the only one getting confused by this, so more concise language would help. I don't see how I've not made it concise, right? So I've written back and said, if they had a partner, they would be in a relationship with their partner. There are romantic asexuals who have romantic relationships, and there are aromantic asexuals, and many of those aromantic asexuals choose to never have a relationship and are happy just being with their close friends. Whilst others whilst others want to be in a relationship and some are, which goes deeper than a friendship. I have an aromantic asexual friend who has been married to a sexual person for years. It is hard to understand if you are not asexual, but that doesn't change what is. People can learn and expand their understanding if you are not asexual, but people can learn and expand their understanding if they should wish to. I am not an aromantic asexual. I am a romantic sexual asexual. You haven't made it concise by using the word relationship. It seems like they want you to stop using that word. Well, I'm not going to stop using that word. Because if an aromantic is married to someone, they're in a relationship. Obviously, like you say, Michael, before, it's common sense. They're in a relationship. They're taken. So, yeah. So, so I go on to say that, yeah, I am not an aromantic asexual. I'm a romantic asexual. Just because we are a minority does not change anything, and people can be open-minded of what a relationship means. Oh dear, and this is what she goes on to say. Right, you ready for this? I have a relationship. I just couldn't, and part of me just couldn't do nothing but laugh in a way. I just think it's sad that she can't accept that people can have relationships that are not romantic or sexual, right? She's put, I have a relationship with my boss, but it doesn't mean I'm in a relationship with my boss. Is she married to her boss? Is she in love with her boss? It's funny because it's like they want you to say married friends in that case. Of course they do, but I'm not saying it. I'm not just going to say it because I'm being forced to say it, which is basically what she's trying to do, force me to say it. Especially as she started, I'll carry on. If I were aromantic asexual, I'd probably still like a partner to live with as opposed to alone. I might adore them, but I wouldn't be in a relationship with them. It's not about open-mindedness, it's about concise language. Although, to be honest, an aromantic asexual marrying a romantic sexual sounds as foolish as gay people. She sounds like a bully, yeah. Yeah, but wait for this. I think it's really rude. She is a bully, Heather, exactly. She's trying to use manipulation tactics, which is why I've just not bothered with her anymore. But, so yeah, but she's put, but I wouldn't be in a relationship with them, which is, she's talking about, so I'll read that last bit again, so because it's hard to follow else. I have a very close friendship, but I'm not in a relationship with her. That's what she's talking about, her boss. If I were an aromantic asexual, I'd probably still like a partner to live with as opposed to alone. I might adore them, but I wouldn't be in a relationship with them. It's not about open-mindedness, it's about concise language. No, it's about the language she wants me to use. Although, to be honest, this is where I think it's so rude. Although, to be honest, an aromantic, this is reminding me of homosexuals being told they're not in real relationships and should be in partnerships instead of marriage. Yeah, exactly, Michael. But she's talking about gays in a minute. So, it says, to be honest, an aromantic asexual marrying a romantic sexual. I never said I said she was married to a sexual. I didn't say he was romantic. I don't even know where he is or not. It's not my business. He might be an aromantic sexual for all I know. I don't know. I just know she's married to a sexual. I have friends with her online, and she's been married over 12 years to him. So I put, this is what she's written. Although, to be honest, an aromantic asexual marrying a romantic sexual sounds as foolish as gay people who marry straight people. So yeah, I don't, it's really not the same thing. One's to do with romantic orientation. The other is to do with gender. But anyway, it's not my life. It's not going to affect me. But I'm saying if you don't want to be misunderstood, then you need to use language concisely. People being smaller in number doesn't make them less of a human being. It does, however, mean that if you start redefining words that only you and your small community understand or agree upon, then you can't go whining when the broader public misunderstands you because you've created that issue yourself, not society. I just think that's really weird. Have you noticed the way she said whining? I think that's a very manipulative tactic. in order to try and get me to agree with her. She's just putting, well, because she's talking to me, I take that as like a personal insult. And also, I get the fact that when people are in smaller communities have their own sort of like meanings, it's harder for people to understand. I do understand that, but at the end of the day, the people like her are not understanding it. I'm explaining it and she's just being ignorant and not accepting what is. Because her ideology of a relationship is based on traditional society ideology, where a relationship has to involve sex or romance. Isn't she whining? Yeah, Michael. I think that's a really good point. But I just got, I just didn't bother anymore. I let her carry on talking to the sexual guy. And I just thought, if you're likening to someone's, I'm telling you that someone's married, they're in a relationship, and she's denying that and trying to liken it to her relationship with her boss, saying she's not in a relationship. It's a completely different thing. You can't liken two people that are been married for years to a relationship with us. Where is her cheese? Her cheese. Oh, dearie me. So I just thought, Sandra, don't bother wasting your time. She's not going to listen to you. She wants to manipulate you into saying that people who are not romantic together are not having sexual intercourse and not in relationships. That's what she wants me to say. Her concise language, not the actual truth. I just, people can't handle it. They just can't deal with it. A lot of people can. They're really good and supportive, but it's just like ridiculous. So I've left that conversation now. I'm not going to carry on. I've got better things to do with my life and time. I've tried to educate her. I've tried to be as concise as I possibly could. In actual reality of the situation. I'm not just going to say the words she wants to hear, however much she wants me to tell her what she wants to hear. I'm not going to say it. I remember before I found out I was asexual, my parents did laugh at me. Because I said that I was with a Bangladesh guy I've said on this channel for a week, but it actually was 3 weeks, but I don't really class it as a real relationship. So, I've been apart from that, I've actually, there was a guy I saw last year online. I was in a relationship for a month, but I haven't really counted that as a relationship as such. But, I've been predominantly, apart from that, I've been, and obviously I've done some dating. I've been single since 5th of November 2011, and it's my 7-year anniversary on Monday, so I'll be doing a live stream that day to let you know I'm going on a self-date. I think I'm going in the day, so I can still do my live stream then, and it'll be 7 years where I've been free of abuse, so I'm really happy about that. 7 years of freedom. It's great. So yeah, I just think, people can't handle it. And anyway, going back to my parents, my mum, with the Bangladesh guy, I said I can't have sex with him, which I don't understand why my parents were laughing. They're not like this anymore. Now they understand, because they know I'm asexual. They're fine. They agree that I am, and they're happy and everything like that. But, they didn't, my mum was laughing, even though they're the new sex before marriage type. So I didn't really get it. And, I said, well, I don't want sex, I just don't like it. And my mum's laughing, saying, well, you just want a platonic friend. And as I'm a romantic person, not an aromantic person, that really hurt me. And I was like, no, Mum, I don't kiss my friends. I love kissing, I don't kiss my only friend, my people that are just my friends. I don't kiss them, and so that was really hurtful and upsetting for me. So, I hate it, one of the reasons why I don't participate in LGBT personally is because I don't feel I fit in, because I'm not LGBT, because I am a hetero romantic, attracted to guys only. And one of the things that I hated and don't like is when some people go, oh, because I say I'm asexual, oh, you're gay then, you're a lesbian. And I'm like, I'm not a lesbian. I'm still attracted to guys, and that's why it so annoys me. And I don't want to be perceived as as being a lesbian. And if I went to LGBT events, to all intents and purposes, the outside world would predominantly think I was an LGBT person. I personally, my mission is to get asexuality recognised as its own right as a sexual orientation throughout the globe. I think we should be supporting LGBT and they should support us, but I think we should be a orientation that's very loud and bold and brave in our own right. I do really think we should be doing our own marches and our own things. That's why I was glad that the UK Sexuality Conference, although it was advertised to LGBT groups and things like that, and some people came along and it was open to anyone, including sexuals, then, but it was an asexuality conference. It was all about asexuality, not LGBT stuff as well. So I was really happy about that. And I think it's really important to still have our own voice. There's no shame in standing on your own 2 feet. I think it's good to do that as well. But yeah, so going back to what my parents say, what's fun is romance without sex seems alien to them. But I've always made the assumption that romance didn't involve sex. Yeah, so, see, to me, sex and love's two complete different things. Sex and romance are often intertwined in heterosexual relationships, but they can be separate, obviously, because I'm asexual. Love romance, love kissing, don't like sex, not interested in it, not sexually attracted. And also, just because I'm not an aromantic asexual, I experience romance, whereas aromantics don't, I don't think that an aromantic relationship any less of a relationship just because you're not being romantic or sexual in it. Do you see what I mean? I'm not aromantic, but I don't view it that way. I think people who are two people believe they're in a relationship. They're in a relationship. If two people are married, then of course they're in a relationship. They're not single, are they? Single relationship, being in a relationship is like the opposite of being single. If someone's got a partner, they're in a relationship. Do you know what I mean? It's like, some people might have an open relationship if they're polyamorous, but they're still in a relationship. But I'm monogamous. So, do you see what I'm saying? It's really sad that people can't open their minds to the fact that you can be in a love relationship without romance and without sex. There's more than just a friendship. And it really hurt me because, like I said, I'm not aromantic, so I don't desire a platonic relationship. I desire a romantic one. It really hurt me when my mum said, before she knew I was asexual, oh, you just want a platonic friend, you do. That really cut me like a knife because, inside, because that's hurtful. It's basically saying that a romantic relationship is invalid because it hasn't got sex as part of it. And that sex must go with romance. Otherwise, you're just having a buddy, a friend, and and that's just disgusting, which is basically what a woman's saying about aromantic relationships. But obviously with aromantics, you do tend to have a platonic relationship. If you're in a platonic, you can have platonic friendships or, but you can also be in a queer platonic relationship or in a queer, in a relationship. So it's just a shame that people, have to start throwing insults about whining and stuff like that, just to manipulate me, to get me to, she wants me to say the words that they're not in a relationship. Well, I won't say it. It's common sense. If someone is married, they're in a relationship. I don't think anyone could deny that. I don't see how anyone can, but she's obviously done it. But, I just think it's been ignorant and unaccepting. And, yes, I want sexuals to understand us, but I won't change the whole landscape of what different parts of our orientation's based on for the pure simple fact that she can't understand it or come to terms with it or accept it. I just, won't do that. And I just think it's sad that there are people like that. Fortunately for me, I don't come across it that often. The majority of people I speak to are mature people who can accept it and who want to learn a lot of the time and want to know more, If they got confusion, they want me to help unconfuse them. And they're open-minded and willing to listen. But, I am connected to, other than asexual, to a lot of entrepreneurs. And I think entrepreneurs in general, they tend to be a lot more open-minded. They take risks with their business. They think outside the box in terms of their business. They think differently in general. They see the world differently. And I think that mindset does help accept asexuality a lot more. Not all of them are going to do it, obviously. But, You know, the ones I come across, the majority do seem to accept it or understand it or just support me, you know, which is really nice. I appreciate that. And just like, yeah, so I've just given up with that person, you know. I've done the best I can to educate them. I've given them links. I've tried to help them. But yeah, unless I categorically say what they want me to say, which is like you say, Heather, a bully tactics. It's just bullying me into backing me into a corner to saying what she wants to hear. And I'm not going to do that. And the silly thing is she's actually talking to a bloke on there, which I told you is the highly sexual one who just wants sex. Yet she's listening to him and being more open-minded with him and more accepting with him, obviously, because he's sexual. And she's saying, oh, well, it's good that you know, you're honest and tell it like it is in that way, that he just wants sex, basically. It's a shame that she's not seeing it's good that I'm honest, saying that actually there are some aromantics that are in relationships, therefore this video is wrong. And I'm trying to help people to know that I come from a background of trying to educate people about asexuality, which I've done for 3 years. So I do come with some sort of substance of knowing what I'm talking about. So I'm not just talking about hot air. Whereas this company who's done the video, you know, they've tried to obviously find out about asexuality as best they can, but they've messed up on the fact they've said that aromantics don't have relationships. And whilst I probably understand how they've got mixed up in that or how they've come to that conclusion, because a lot of them don't, and there seems to be, even within the asexual community, there seems to be people going around not understanding why aromantics want to be relationships. I've known for a very, very long time that some aromantics want to have relationships. I did a video called Aromantic Struggles. It's one of the most popular videos on this channel. If you haven't seen it, go to my channel. Just search in search my actual channel in my videos. There's a search that comes up. Type in Aromantic Struggles and you will see that video. And in that video, I talk about aromantics can struggle just as much as us, because if they do want a relationship and they want it with one of their friends, it's hard for them to tell whether that friend reciprocates and wants a relationship with them, because an aromantic relationship is more deeper than a friendship, but it's like not so recognizable as, you know, as a being that different to a friendship. So therefore it makes it harder when they're really, really close friends with someone, can even be quite intimate friends, for them to, you know, suss out where that person likes them a bit more than a friend, enough to go deep to be actually in a relationship with. And that was like a video I did a long, long time ago. And it's really popular. It's got a lot of likes and a lot of views. And it's got a lot of aromantics that can relate to it. And if a lot of aromantics can relate to it, then obviously there's more aromantics than we think that wants relationships or would consider them. You know, and I think that's really important. And I know aromantics, and I knew one in the past, although he's changed to a heteromantic in the last year. But I knew him for quite some time, and he was aromantic. I don't know why he's changed to heteromantic, because when I knew him, he didn't even want a hug. Like, I managed to get him to hug me, but that was really rare. That wasn't normal for him. He felt weird, but I said, oh, do you want to do that or not? Do you feel comfortable in giving it a go or not? And that was just like a hug, hello, and goodbye. It wasn't like anything prolonged or anything, but, you know, he was like not that into touching, you know, not, when I'm saying touching, not even a hug, do you know what I mean? Where some aromantics are the opposite. I've got an aromantic friend and he's like hugs for ages. So, you know, you can get different types of aromantics, but, you know, I just think it's a shame when people are trying to so manipulate others into saying what they want to hear about asexuality rather than facing the truth about it. And I don't want to change what isn't true just to suit them, because that's not breaching understanding. That's just telling them what they want to hear and keeping them misunderstood. You know, I realise that asexuality can be a really difficult concept to people who aren't asexual, but just telling them total untruths or ones that, you know, things that aren't exactly true is not going to really help. That's why it has led to confusion, because the video clearly says aromantics don't want relationships. And that's what's caused the problem, because I'm now saying, well, some do, you know, and that's what they don't get. And it's a shame that they haven't put correction on the video in that. But they've kind of said, well, comment below if you want to add a comment on the video, which is what I have done. But there is someone else, but I don't know where they are. You know, I don't know where they are. They did say about queer platonic relationship. I don't know if I can get it back up, but it's quite far down. But I don't actually know. Oh right, I don't think my iPad's still. Oh, it is still on it. Let me see if I can scroll down. Oh no, I don't think I can. I think it's gonna. This article, by the way, just to reiterate, is called 7 Things Asexual People Want You to Know, and it's Psych to Go is the channel name, if you were wondering. But I don't know if I can find out about the relationship a bit. The one that someone says QPR, queer platonic relationship. I'm trying to find it. There's an ace panromantic ace girl. There's a lot of asexuals in here, you know, talking. I think this is quite good. Someone's brought up the fact, another thing that should be mentioned, especially with younger ace kids, is that it's not that they don't have hormones or haven't gone through puberty. Someone tried to explain this to me while I was talking about being ace for me, and I think it's just something that more people need to be educated on. When this discussion had come up for me, I had finished puberty years ago. Yeah, it's horrible when they say, oh, you haven't been through puberty yet, it was just a phase. Oh, I hate it as well when people put young people down, people that are 12 or 13 that say they're asexual, and people go, oh, well, you're too young to know. I mean, that is so patronising. I knew at 15 years old I didn't want kids. And the doctor's like, you'll change your mind, Sandra. And I'm like, no, I won't. And no, I haven't. And no, I never will. I absolutely hate it. You know, when people think just because you're X amount of years young, that you don't know your own mind. It just really, really annoys me. It's like, you know, I'm perfectly capable of knowing my own mind. Thank you very much. I don't have to be like everyone else. I've never had that instinct of a baby inside me. It makes me feel physically sick, to be honest, that thought. For me, if anyone else wants it, that's up to them. But actually, I think I mentioned before that I am pregnancy repulsed. But it got me, I took 2.5 years to actually come to terms with pregnant women, the way they looked in my work. So, you know, I don't actually like the physical appearance of other people. Obviously, they can't help it because they want babies and they need to do that. And, you know, if anyone has a baby, and I'll say congratulations, great for you, you know, because if people are happy, that's great. I'm trying to find out if there's that one with a queer platonic, but I mean, it just goes on and on this thread. It could be, I could be here for hours. I just thought it was really good what they said. Oh, maybe it's down here. I'm trying to find it. I'm 13 and asexual. People tell me that I'll change my mind in the future. I just want them to understand that I'm going to be single forever and that I'm never going to change my mind. Yeah, see? I'm glad they said that they're 13 and asexual. Change your mind. I just want them to understand that I'm going to be single forever. I'm never going to change my mind. I mean, whether they're single forever or not, I don't know, but they're definitely, you know, if that's what they think. But, believe. But, you know, I realised I was asexual when I was only 12. And now I'm 15 and still definitely ace. Don't worry about what other people say, even if they're your friends or family. No one knows your own sexuality more than you do. I think that's a really good piece of advice. Same, but I'm 12 and I'm also aromantic. They still have a point, though. You might not indeed listen to them, but I'd not be that. It won't change. It may not, but it may. Oh, just... I'm not even going to read that thread because they're just going to keep going on and on about people change and all the rest of it. I don't think I can find it. That's a shame. I was trying to find it. 'Cause, I was trying to find it about the queer platonic thing, but I can't. Oh, it's really good because they were trying to explain a queer platonic relationship and the fact that some people do want to be in them. So that the fact that, like I said in the video, when it says some aromantics don't want, aromantics don't want relationships, a blanket statement rather than some, they were saying that's not actually true. And I was trying to find it, but there's just so many people on here now, that just, the thread's huge and I can't find it. Yeah, I can't find it. It just goes on and on and on, which is great. Not everyone's asexual in the thread, obviously, but I don't want to keep looking through here and, like, keeping the time ticking because I can't. But it's nice to see so many asexuals that are on here, saying about the video. I think it's good they have done a video about asexuality. Don't get me wrong. It's just a shame that they said about that. About the fact that no aromantics want relationships, because it's a real big myth that is really just damaging to the people that are aromantic asexuals and do want relationships or are in one. Clearly it's just very, very damaging. So, yeah, it just goes on and on and on. Sorry, I can't find it. But anyway, it was really good. They were describing a queer platonic relationship and what it means to them and everything. And it sounded really, really lovely. And I just think it's a shame people can't be more open-minded. It's sad to shame kids that are asexual. Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's sad people can't accept that people who are young are asexual, I mean, I didn't know I was asexual, but there was signs I was asexual looking back, definitely at 6 years old. And also, there was also signs I was nudity repulsed. Well, it wasn't a sign, it was more of a blatant "you're nudity repulsed" girl. So at 2 years old, I was on my potty. I might have been under 2, actually, because I don't know when I finished being on my potty. But I was in the kitchen. I don't know what a potty's doing in the kitchen. But anyway, my mum was in the kitchen. Did it have a dining table in there as well? I can't remember. I was really small, obviously, because I was on my potty. And it was in the kitchen. I remember looking up at my mum. So I was obviously very, very small. And I just saw myself on the potty naked. And I'm like, oh my God, my mum's seeing me naked. And people who are infants don't usually think that way. That's what I mean. I've always been different. I've always been not normal. I've always been far out. I've always been, my mind has always been thinking things from a very young age that is the way other people can't think, I can remember, like, things like that. I mean, I don't know anyone else very much that can remember that type of thing, going back that far. But yeah, I remember I was on my potty and it was the first time I remember being aware of my own body in that sense, and that I was naked in front of my mum. And I'm like, my mum's seen me on the potty naked. This is not right. And I was in the kitchen, sat on my potty, and I just, you know what I mean? I must have been 2 or under. I don't know when, because I'm not into babies. I don't know when people finish on potties, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, I was just like, I presume under 2, but I don't know. But yeah, it's like an awakening. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm naked in front of my mum. My mum's seeing me naked. It's not right. And that's what I thought. And she's my mum. So that was a huge sign that I was, sorry, my chest is so bad, but I was naked repulsed. And also that was asexual, really, because I didn't want people seeing my body naked, really, because I just didn't feel right. But I know from the age of 6 I was, because there was a guy that I ended up having a boyfriend at 6 years old. He was not asexual. I would definitely say he was not asexual. I knew him later on, actually, so he wasn't asexual. A boyfriend at 6 years old, yeah. So when I said I've been in heterosexual relationships for all my life, half of my life, I didn't actually say about the 6-year-old when I was 6, but it wasn't a healthy relationship. It was a bad, it wasn't good, even at 6. But even at 6 years old, I was snogging him. I was kissing him passionately at 6 years old. And I knew I liked kissing back then. But when he wanted at 6 years old to get naked. Well, not fully naked, to see naked bits of me. And I absolutely hated the experience. I don't really want to go into it, but it wasn't It wasn't nice. I didn't like it. I hated it. I thought it was wrong. And that was at 6 years old. And when I told the counsellor I saw at college when I was, how old was I? Was I 17 years old then? I was distraught that that happened when I was 6. And he was asking me to do stuff. And he was, like I said, he was the same age as me. It's not like he was a bloke or anything. He was a boy that was the same age as me. He was in my school. So yeah. When I told the counsellor that this 6-year-old want to play ask to see stuff, she's like, oh, that's just doctors and nurses. That's normal. And I was really deeply upset and hurt and traumatized. And obviously, I was about 17 then. I saw a counsellor at college between the ages of 17 and 19 because I was at college 17 to 19. I was there for 3 years. Actually, I was there for 3 years. The age of 16 to 19, that would have been, yeah. So, but I started seeing a counsellor at the age of 17 when I was there, 17 to 19. Yeah, and that was one of the things I told her about. And she didn't understand why I was so upset. I think I was crying. And that was like 11 years later because that happened when I was like 6 years old. And I was 17. And I still hadn't got over it. So 6-year-olds experience sexual attraction. They experience sexual experimentation. Whether it's sexual attraction, I don't know. But he wanted to see things of me. And because he was curious. And I felt really uncomfortable and disgusted. That seems mildly disturbing to me. Curiosity, yes. So I don't like it. I don't really want to go into it. But I was explaining it to a counsellor and she said that's perfectly normal to play doctors and nurses. So doctors and nurses, in essence, means the boy looks at the girl's private part and the girl looks at the boy's private part. And when he asked me if I want to see his bit, I said no, because I wasn't interested in that. But that wasn't the same for him. He was asking to see stuff of me at 6 years old. And the counsellor told me when I was in college that was perfectly normal for kids to do that. Apparently, kids masturbate as well. Apparently. So there you go. But I was deeply disturbed by that experience because I felt guilty. I felt it was wrong. I felt it was bad. But I didn't stop him. Yeah. It wasn't good. I kind of felt pressurized into it. And yeah, I kind of there was a lot of stuff going on. I'm not going to go into it all, but I kind of felt pressurized into it, and I didn't have the self-love I have today, and I wasn't as strong as I am now. And yeah, well, I'm creeped out by that being normal. Why is the image wobbling like that? I'm on my mobile phone, Giorgio. So possibly it's because I'm holding my phone like this. But, I'm not on my iPad today. So my iPad, when it's over my Mac, is stationary. But I'm on my phone because my iPad's got some issues with it at the moment and it's charging. Sorry about the experience, Heather. Thank you, Heather. Yeah. It's, not good. It was a horrible, horrible experience overall. And yeah. And then when you're told by a counsellor that's perfectly normal, it was traumatic for me. So it's obvious to me that I was asexual back then. I was not liking sexual stuff. I just, at 6 years old, wanted the kissing. I loved kissing at 6, which I guess is quite really, really far out and weird for a 6-year-old to love that. I loved it. I just adored it. I've always liked it ever since. That's what I mean. To me, kissing is an art form. To me, kissing is a beautiful thing in its own right. I absolutely love the act of kissing. I love the beauty. And in the mouth I'm talking about, not, I absolutely love kissing. Back then, I didn't French kiss either. I think it was all open mouth kissing. Yeah, it was all open mouth kissing and there's no tongue involved. but it was passionate open mouth kissing, a lot of it. And yeah, and so I always adored the open mouth kissing. I really loved it. And I just, and hug, like I like a guy's hand around my back and stuff, and and holding each other and stroking each other's back, with clothes on. So I like all that affection and cuddling and kissing, but I don't like sexual stuff, So, yeah, back then I was definitely asexual back then, but I didn't realise it. I didn't find out I was asexual till 2014. That's like 4 years ago. And when you got signed, when you didn't realise, but obviously you were asexual back then, that's a long time of your life to live without knowing you're asexual. And I think that it's such a shame that there's not education in schools, and I think it's such a shame that there's so many children suffering in silence because they don't want to fit in with all the peer pressure that's going on, with all the people pressurizing, saying, you're at that age now, why aren't you having sex? Or I've got this boyfriend, we did it last night, it was great, and how many times have you done it, and all the rest of it. I just think it's so sad. And I think, when counsellors are saying stuff that's really not supportive as well, and they're basically, not acknowledging how people feel, they're not acknowledging how society is and how we're meant to live by society's rules and what's expected of us sexually, but they're not actually acknowledging the feelings of the person and how that can be traumatic. I was traumatized, years later, I'm sat in a counsellor's office at college, explained to her how upsetting it was, and I was crying. As far as I remember, I was crying to her, saying it's just horrible. Bad counsellor. Yeah, Giorgio. Yeah, but the sad thing is, they seem to be all the ones I've had. Not everyone's had the same experience as me. The ones I've had haven't been good like that. That's the reason I found out I was asexual, though. I guess that's the only blessing. That's the only icing on the cake, as it were, is that I found out I was asexual because a counsellor in 2014 told me that I would have to have sex in order to keep a good guy. Because I went to him because I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't date sexuals anymore. I used to nearly wet myself, and I was so scared of the expectation of sex at the end of the date. I mean, I'm a lot stronger now. I can handle sexuals a lot better, but even so, I prefer to be with an asexual any day. At the moment, I'm not even really pursuing a relationship at the moment, since I've had my date with a heterosexual a few weeks ago. I did actually date a heterosexual and got my chest infection because I kissed him. It's kind of like, I really enjoyed the kissing, but kind of like, because I had like kissing nearly over a process of 6 hours, I'm quite satisfied kissing at the moment. So it's kind of like, I'm not really longing for that at the moment, like I usually am. And plus, since I kissed him, I got the chest infection, like, kind of doesn't really make me feel in the mood for kissing. And it kind of like, just want to get better because I got an asexual meetup on the 18th of November, and my BFF, my asexual BFF guy friend, he's coming on the Friday, and we're going out clubbing together. Yep, 2 asexuals going clubbing together. It's great. I love it. He came with me last time, and he's really pushing through his boundaries because he's not extrovert like me, and he has anxiety and some mental health problems, and I have some anxiety still. But he said, no, I want to push through my boundaries. And so we went clubbing last time together, and we're going clubbing this time together. And he was so brave, and he was really good. But obviously I'm by his side, so if he needs me, then I'm here for him. And when we went to this club, I know my city really well. I go to this place on my own, but I usually go there's on the Friday or Saturday, there's 3 dance floors, whereas on a Tuesday night, there's just one. And we went on all 3 floors, and the middle floor, I'm not kidding you, you're packed like sardines. I've got a woman up my backside, woman's rubbing her backside up my backside, and I kind of like, okay. I hated that. I've always hated that, but it's kind of like you have to just put up with it if you're going to be in a club and you want to just, but I try and just dance a bit like crazily, and then people just move away from me. They're like, oh my God, quick. Some don't. They decide to just push me anyway. But yeah, so my asexual friend went coming with me, and we're going to go again on the Friday, the 16th. Because I said, are you up for that again? He said, yeah, because he always used to go clubbing years ago. So yeah, he's pushed through a lot of boundaries personally as well, because his mental health's improved loads. He said the asexual meetups have really helped him. It's great that other asexuals understand him. He feels understood for like, one of the first times in his life. He feels really understood. He's friends with my other asexual, some of my other main best asexual male friends now. So we're all kind of friends together, supporting each other, and it's really lovely and beautiful. So yeah, so I've got to try and get this chest better. Now I'm still coughing up stuff, so I might have to go doctors. Like, this is over 2 weeks I've had this chest infection now. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to get rid of it naturally because I don't like having antibiotics. And the pharmacist, when I saw them, were like, "Oh, you're supposed to wait 3 weeks now if you've got like a chest infection to see the doctor." But yeah, obviously I can't ever kiss a smoker again. I didn't want to ever be kissing a smoker in my life, and I think kissing adrenaline just took over me because, like I said, because kissing, like, I mean, people like sex, even though I don't like sex. People like sex for the dopamine hit, right? Some people get that out of it. I don't get that out of it, out of sex. It doesn't really do stuff like that for me. But that's why people get addicted to sex, because of the chemicals it releases, the hormones. And I get those kind of chemicals released over kissing. It makes me feel great, usually, really, really good, and makes me feel high and just excitable naturally. And I just love that, no taking clothes off, don't have to do any touching, and just like kiss. Bliss to me, absolute bliss. And I just adore that so much that I just, I don't want the other stuff that usually comes with it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not interested because, unfortunately, kissing is usually a prequel. Prequel, is that the right word to use? One of my ace friends too is into kissing that way. Do they happen to be asexual male in the UK and foreign by any chance? And single? And hetero romantic? I need a hetero romantic foreign asexual guy in the UK like that. I really do. One that'd be highly compatible. There's not that many asexuals that do like it that much. The only ones I speak to, the guys, they're either not really asexual, I find out eventually, or they are on the very sexual end of the asexual spectrum, which usually involves things they want, other things like touching, and sometimes they want all over the body kissing and touching. I'm just not into that. So a lot of the time it just goes too far. They're just too sexual in behaviour for me. But the way I like to kiss often is just too sexual in behaviour for a lot of heteromantics. I only have female ace friends, and mostly outside the UK. Giorgio. Okay, thanks. Most of my asexual friends are males. That's quite funny. So yeah, so at the asexual meetup in November on the 18th, sorry, my friend BFF that I'm seeing on the 16th because he's coming earlier, we're going to a Chinese restaurant. If I haven't already told you, we're going to a Chinese restaurant on the 18th, and then in my city we're having their Christmas lights switched on, and there's a Christmas market on as well, and then there'll be live bands and activities on the day because it's like a special day for the Christmas lights switching on. So it's going to be absolutely amazing. We've got 7 of us going to the restaurant and then an 8th joining us later. There's me and one other female who's, I think she's older than me. And yeah, there was another female friend I have that I need to message because, but I won't do it tonight because it's too late for her. But she says she might be able to come because she's back in Exeter, but she might be working. So, which is, my city. So, yeah, I'll have to message her and see if she's available because I need final table booking reservation numbers. I really needed them in by the 31st of October. I'll check on her. I'm sure I can squeeze her in if she wants to come. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. But some of us are meeting up the night before on the Saturday. So when asexuals stay over in hotels, I always meet up with them before. So for me, I have like a 4-day asexual meetup going on because I'm meeting my best friend forever asexual guy friend on the Friday, the 16th. He gets into Exeter at 3:15. And I'm picking up from the coach station. And I'll be already dressed to go out clubbing. So we'll go and eat food. We'll probably have 2 lots of food because he'll be hungry and I'll be hungry. We both like our food. I love it when asexuals like food. Like when you've got 2 asexuals that love food, it's great because you don't have to worry about what you look like. You don't have to worry about trying to be skinny or, oh my God, I can't eat in front of a guy because, because it's not a sexual thing, he's just my friend, but we're really, really good friends. And, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about your appearance. I mean, I do take pride in my appearance, don't get me wrong. Of course, I take pride in my appearance. I'm going to be dressed up to go out clubbing and enjoy myself, but it's for me. It's for my own benefit. I'm not dressing up for some bloke. Do you know what I mean? I got a new dress actually, which is really, really weird because the dress I bought is one that I used to have similar to that years ago. But like, I feel a bit weird wearing it because it's like I had this thing years ago when was I 19 at the time or something? And it's the exact identical dress. I think the size is the same, size 12 as well. I was like, oh, size 12, great. And the style and everything, it's nearly exactly the same. But when I spoke to them in the supermarket, I bought it from. She's like, because the supermarket has closed. She's like, oh yeah, well they come round in fashion again, don't they? But I'm like, felt a bit weird. It's like, oh, I'm like stepping back in time. But I'm young anyway. But it's kind of like I think my clothes now are younger than back then a lot of the time. So I'm kind of like, do I buy it or not? But it looks nice. It's a black velvety dress. So it's going to be good. So kind of a Christmassy type of, like winter type of velvety dress, velour type of thing. So I'm looking forward to wearing that. But, I dress up for me. Like I've told you before, I go to the theatre and I dress up just, in London. Sometimes I dress up just for me, go on my own on a self date to the theatre. It's great. And I adore that, I think you've got to live for yourself. And I just really love the fact that asexuals, when you like your food, you're not worried about your weight all the time. You're just enjoying food. I absolutely love the taste of food, and especially when we go to the Chinese. I mean, oh my God, I didn't tell you. I don't know if I told you. I'm saying I didn't tell you. I don't know if I told you. When I was last at the Chinese restaurant, I was with my friend who's not asexual. So the last asexual meetup, we went to this Chinese restaurant and it was brilliant. Everyone liked it. And then since then, I've met up with my best female friend who's not asexual, but I get on so well with her. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care if people talk about sex. She can talk about sex to me. Doesn't bother me. She has a healthy sexual appetite for a sexual, shall we say. So she loves sex, basically. And I'm pleased for her. She can tell me what she likes. I don't have a problem with her people talking to me about sex. I just don't want it myself. And so it's so funny. We're in the Chinese restaurant, right? And there's this guy who is a waiter that I've never seen there before. He was a young guy. And I'm like, oh my God. I said to my friend, like my jaw was dropping. He was so beautiful. Seriously gorgeous. And I was going red and blushing. And I was like, oh, it's just totally my type. And he was beautiful. And I told him so. So I like to dare myself and I like to be daring and I'm extrovert and I like to push my boundaries of myself and I like to do things that other people wouldn't do. So I said to my friend, shall I tell him he's beautiful? Shall I tell him I think he's beautiful when she's like, oh yeah. I don't think she believed I did it. I do it. So we were sat having food and he was bringing the stuff to our table. I did. I said it as a matter of fact. I said, oh, by the way, you're very beautiful. And I just carried on. It was such a surreal moment because he just looked at me. Because I like his aesthetic look. He's got short, dark hair, clean shaven, foreign, stunningly fit. I like thin guys even though I'm not thin. Stunningly beautiful, like nice shoulder blades. Beautiful, beautiful skin. Really, really, really gorgeous looking guy. Because obviously, I like younger guys, foreign guys. It's just stunningly beautiful. But even my friends said, he's bound to be taken in a relationship because a guy who looks like as stunning as him, because she could tell the way he looked, he's bound to have a girlfriend. But I did. I said, oh, by the way, you look very beautiful. I think, or looked beautiful, looked very beautiful. I think I said looked very beautiful. And I told him he was beautiful anyway. And he just looked at me and then kind of carried on. It was just like really funny. Like it was like almost like he heard me, but didn't quite acknowledge it in his mind. It was really funny. And I said, oh, are you here a lot? Because it's the first time I've seen you. He said, oh, my mum's the manager. So that was funny. I thought, oh, I felt like saying to his mum, you got a gorgeous. My friend's like, no, best not say that. I'm like, oh, right. I said that afterwards, actually, to her. I said, do you think I should have said to his mum what a gorgeous looking son she's got? She's like, no, I don't think that'd go down very well, Sandra. I'm like, oh, okay then. But yeah, see, I think in life, it's nice to tell people they look beautiful, if that's what you truly believe. And I think life's too short not to. You know, I could die tomorrow. Hopefully I won't. Hopefully I'll live to be 100 because that's what I want to do, at least. But you know, you never know if you're going to see that person ever again. You never know what's going to happen to you. And I just think if I can tell someone they look beautiful, if I really believe that, especially while I'm single, I may as well give someone else some joy and pleasure and thinking, oh, that's nice. And you know, he might think I'm crazy, but I am crazy anyway, in a good way, so I don't mind. But yeah, he's beautiful. So I don't know if he'll be there serving us at the next asexual meetup. But what was really funny was I was then going back to the diary with the manager, which was his mum, because I need to confirm the booking for asexual meetup. And instead of him going off doing stuff at tables, he was stood right next to her looking at what I was doing. I thought, oh yeah, do you like me a little bit then? Because you're stood next to your mum, you don't need to be. You could be serving people at tables or doing something in the kitchen. I thought that was quite funny. I'm like, but instead you're stood here looking at me whilst I'm talking to your mum. I thought that was quite amusing. He might have just been intrigued. I don't know. But I did tell him, I said, I've got booking here next month. He goes, because he said to me, so, oh, are you coming back? I said, well, probably with my friend I will, but I said, I've got an asexual meetup. Well, I didn't say asexual meetup. I said, I'm meeting a group of friends here next month. I actually told him I'm asexual. I didn't get that in there with him. Because it wasn't like I was talking to him as a boyfriend girlfriend. I was just saying he was beautiful. So he doesn't, you know, he's not. I don't think I'm ever going to be in a position where I can ask him to be my boyfriend, and he's probably heterosexual anyway, I'm guessing. So yeah. Anyway, that was very interesting. Anyway, I've diverted a lot on this conversation. I've been going on for some time now, so I think that concludes tonight's episode of Asexualise My Asexual Life. I think I've covered quite a lot of diverse stuff tonight's chat. And I thank you, Heather, and I thank you, Michael, for watching. Thank you, Giorgio, as well. I really appreciate that. Thanks for everyone that's given me a thumbs up. Any more thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please hit the great big subscribe button. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live or post a new video. And I will see you soon. It's been really lovely to see you. Night, Heather. Night, Michael. Thanks very much. Night, Giorgio. Lots of love. Bye.